everyone, my name's Tracy. I'm here for Bello's Designs, and today I'm going to create for you this reversible acetate tag. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so what you're going to need, your laminator, some laminating sheet. We're using bay leaf cottage, and this is a matte laminating sheet. This is a piece of tissue. Just plain tissue will work. You're going to need some 1/8 inch double-sided tape, some scissors. I've got my Stabilo ALL Pencil, I've got my jelly roll pen and a little paintbrush, and my Elements ink and Henna, Sundance, graphite, and paprika. And what we're going to make is this little tag, and this is just some, and you're going to need some glitter, of course, glitter of your choice. We're going to make a little reversible tag here. So to start, what I need to do is I need to grab just a piece of scrap copy paper, and I actually end up using two. Then I'm going to tear off a piece of this tissue paper, and I'm actually going to stamp my stamp down onto the tissue paper. So doing this allows you to see it through the other side as well, but we're going to take it a step further because I want to paint it. And in order to be able to paint it, I need to have some sort of backing on it, which is why I'm laminating. So I'm just pressing down my stamp, and I did use VersaFine Clair ink in the Nocturne. Then I'm just going to lift my stamp, move that aside, and we're ready to go. So I'm going to lay this on a piece of copy paper, and I'm going to grab another piece of copy paper and put it back behind it. And then I'm going to put all the pieces into the matte laminating sheet. I got mine, I forgot even where I got them. But you see I'm laying this down on the reverse side. So I've laid it down reversed side over. I'm laying all the pieces into my laminating sheet, just making sure it all fits. And I don't mind that it's smearing there because I'm going to be fussy cutting this thing out. And I'm just going to run it through my laminator, and there we go. Now all we need to do is just cut around our little cabin kind of thing, and then pull apart our other papers, and there we've got a smooth side and we've got a rough side. And what we want to do is we want to paint our rough side, and I'm going to paint it with my Elements inks. So I'm just pressing down on the lid and trying to get ink into the top of the lid, and I want to make sure that I'm painting on the rough side. And I just take a little bit of water and take my brush, and I just use my work surface there, and I run it through and just paint the little shingles or boards or whatever these might be. I think they're kind of grass boards or something. And we're going to do a couple of coats, and this does dry back a little bit. So we've done that part, and now I'm going to go in with my paprika and very lightly go over that because I don't want it just one single color. Now you can do any colors you want. You want to pretty much use watercolor because it's translucent. If you try to use like acrylic paint or something, you're going to cover up all your lines, and that's not what we're wanting to do. So you see I'm just kind of going in and just laying some of this ink down, and then I'll water that down and spread it around. So you can treat this exactly like you're watercoloring, and you're doing it on tissue, and it's not even wrecking the tissue. Don't you love it? And then what I do is I flip it over to the other side to make sure it looks good and make sure I got all the parts. There we go. See one little spot there, it's a little bald. Fill it in, and then just complete the rest of the top of the little house. And we'll add our shadows in later. So you could, again, use any color, combine colors. You could do glitter paint if you wanted to. It's not going to show up as good as it would, it won't show up on both sides as glitter paint, but you could try it anyway. It could be fun. Now the point of all this, and why am I making a tag, is because I am going to be doing a junk journal series with you. And we're going to start out by making some of our own ephemera. And junk journals have tags. That's just part of the process. So now I am painting with the Henna and just kind of going around the bricks. And this is kind of a rough coat. You know, I'll do more than one coat, just to kind of give you an idea how we're going to be painting this. Okay, I guess that was the paprika. So sorry about that. Here's the henna. It's kind of got a little bit of a purpley hue to it, and I'm just trying to get brick color, sort of ish. If there were fairy bricks. Well, here in Alabama we have red dirt, so it would work. And I'll go ahead and paint the stairs too, I think. Yeah, gotta get those stairs done. And I'll just go ahead and get in a little bit darker. And what you will notice here is that, oops, I'm painting the shiny side. So it does paint too, by the way. And it does dry and it does stay. But you see it's a little bit shinier. So I'm going to go in here with the elements in the graphite, and if you can't get any into the lid, just put a little bit on your work surface. So I'm going to be doing the little kind of holder things, and in my mind they're iron. So you know, I don't know what you would call them, the part that holds the structure together. And sure enough, I would be doing this and somebody decided to go outside and chunk up a tree or something. Come on, guys. There's only certain periods of time that I can do a voiceover. I'm going to get the door. I'm going to get that in a gray too. And then the rocks. I want the rocks to be gray as well. And again, do these in any color you want. Doesn't matter. It's your hut. Now I'm just adding a little bit of ground there. And I'll clean up and wipe up my mess here so I don't get my hands and drag my image through it. Then I'm going to take my Stabilo ALL Pencil and I'm going to make sure it's nice and sharp. And I'm going to kind of just go over and create shadows up underneath the little iron rails or ties or whatever, and then get a little bit of water in my brush and just kind of spread it around. So the Stabilo pencils are definitely movable with water. And see, I flipped it over to the other side. So you do work on both sides just to make sure that you've got a nice crisp image on both sides. So it would look like, I don't know, you printed both sides. And then see, I need to darken around and do it again with my Stabilo ALL Pencil. This is my first video for Del Bello's, and I'm hoping that you guys will enjoy a junk journal series. We will be using products mostly purchased at Del Bello's. Lavinia stamps, cardio stamps, pink ink stamps. Oh gosh. Anyways, oh, old people, you know. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this shaded in some, and then just we're going to use water to kind of move that around. I just want to make sure that I've fully got all my black as black on both sides. Okay, now I've mixed there some paint, or ink. I've mixed the paprika and the henna because I'm painting the other side of the cabin. I felt like it needed to be a bit darker. So the darkness of the one side just didn't show through dark enough for my taste, so I'm just painting it. And I mean, there's some makers out there that really go to town on painting these things. Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic, but I'm perfectly happy with what we have here. So just, I'll go in and just kind of do fine details with my pencil. I'm coloring in the bricks there, and then I'll go ahead and draw those back in with my Stabilo pencil. And this, again, it does dry back a bit, so it'll be a little bit lighter. And now I'm just taking the white jelly roll pen and just kind of adding some little highlights to my little iron holder thingies. Again, I can't think of the name of what they'd be called. And I'll flip it over and just go in some more with some outlining. And this time I'm going to make sure my pencil's nice and sharp because I want nice fine lines. And I'm just going to outline all of this. Just making sure that I've got a nice, again, crisp image. And I don't necessarily worry if I go outside the lines. This is a handmade thing. It is not machine made. So now I go ahead and I just draw in the lines a little bit, and they don't have to be perfect, just so that we get kind of the image of what we have on the other side. And because this is kind of translucent, these will somewhat show through the other side, so it'll give it more texture and dimension. Okay, yeah, super easy. And you can see how these little Stabilo, if you don't invest in anything all year, I invest in a Stabilo ALL pencil in the black because there's so much you can do with it. So, and I will fussy cut this thing off camera because there's no point in you watching me cut things. I'm just now creating some shadows up underneath my little holder, building holder thingies. I don't know. Well, ask Tracy, what are those? What do you call those? I don't know. And I'm just kind of redrawing in my bricks here. And I'm just checking the other side so I can kind of see them. Because I did a dark color, it's harder to see through. All right, that's done. It's all been fussy cut out. Now it's time to make the tag. Now I like to go around the edge with my Stabilo ALL pencil just to make sure it's nice and black around the edges in case I did a bad job of fussy cutting. Now, I'm really good at fussy cutting. I enjoy doing it. There's some people who do not. If you don't enjoy fussy cutting, I imagine you could just use the entire piece in between your tag. But I'll tell you, when you have laminated this onto this, this matte laminating sheet, it cuts out like a dream. So even you can see I got even the very, very tip because it doesn't tear. So now we're going to take our acetate piece and we're going to cut this down to 3 1/4, and I will write that down for you. 3 1/4, and I'm going to leave it at its length of 8 1/2 because I don't really know until I lay the little cabin down how long I want it. So there's no rule for tags. You can make them any size you want. But I do want 2 pieces of the 3 1/4. And then I'll cut the rest down, so I'll decide where my little cabin's gonna go, and I'll lay another piece on top. And I wanna cut it at about an inch, and scant inch away from where the top of the cabin will be. And so I'll go ahead and put that in my trimmer and cut it down, and then make sure that the pieces are nice and matched up and cut that side down as well. Sometimes it's hard to see acetate. So I've got them both the same size. Now I want to make a tag shape. So I've got this little tool that I made. It's just my little tag template. You could use a piece of a credit card cut off or whatever you want, but I want to use 3/4 of an inch. And I'm just laying that up against the edges of the acetate tag on both of them, and then just trimming off with my scissors. It makes it so you don't have to have a die if you don't want to, and you can make any size tag you want. So I've got those trimmed off, and I know they're hard to see on camera, but I like to take a paper towel and kind of wipe off my fingerprints best I can. And then I'm going to lay my little cabin in there so I kind of know my placement. And what I want to do is I want to take some of this double-sided 1/8 inch tape, and I'm going to go all the way around. And the way I like to do it is I like to lay the tape on one edge and then trim it off and then lift part of that edge before I lay my next piece down so that they can overlap each other, because I don't want any gaps. So I'll just lay these down, and I am going to show this whole thing, but we'll be doing this more than once today. And then I just lay the backing paper back down. So I'll lift this side, run my tape along the very, very edge, and take your time with this. It's better if you get it straight. And then I'll just lay my paper back down and trim off any excess. Then I'm going to do the top corners, see if I've got any sticking over, and I'll do the exact same thing as I'll peel back a little piece, lay my tape down, tear it off, cut it off, whatever you want to do. You probably will have to clean your scissors afterwards though, because this can get to be pretty sticky. Now, what if you don't have double-sided tape? You could staple it. I mean, junk journals beg for staples and other types of, you know, every kind of medium you can think of, really. So I'm going to lift both of those since I'm doing this very top part, and if it's stuck to the paper, I'm just tearing it off because I want to make sure that I have it full sticky all the way around. And then trim off that excess. And then I'm going to place my little house where I want it. And I'm going to just kind of make sure that I get this straight. I peel off just the bottom piece, lay that down across the bottom, and then I'll peel off the rest. That way I can make sure it's fairly straight. You want them to be on there pretty evenly, and then I just peel off the tape and lay it down. And then what we have is we have our little cabin sandwiched in between the two pieces of acetate. You could do this, you could put foam tape and make it a shaker if you wanted to, whatever you want. So I'm going to go ahead and tape up both sides there. I've got both sides taped up, the front and the back, and I'm going to grab some glitter, and grab the glitter of your choice. I'm just using some generic glitter that I have no idea where I got. I know that you can get glitter at Bello. They carry the Lavinia Echo glitter. So, and I have some on order, or I will soon. But for now, I'm just using my generic glitter. And I'm just going to peel off all those backer pieces. And you see I've got a piece of butcher paper underneath because this is a little bit of a messy process, I'm not going to lie. So be ready to get glitter everywhere. And all I'm doing is just laying the glitter along the edges. I kept the tape on the other side because I'm not ready to do that side yet. We do these one side at a time. So I'll get all my glitter down and just give it a few taps off, and then I'll do my best to pour my glitter back into that teeny tiny little vessel. I probably got that glitter at Walmart, who knows. And then I'll use a paper towel to kind of tap off or wipe off the rest. But before I do that, I'm just going to take a piece of packaging here and take my bone folder and just burnish that glitter in. All right, there's one side. All we need to do is the other side. And poke out, make a hole, and add ourselves a little tie. So same process. Just again, one side at a time. And you could put little fairies inside of there with this method, whatever you want. But this little house is very big, like tall. And I know that when I see cards made by my friends in the UK and Australia, they tend to make huge cards. Here in the US, we're kind of down to the 5.5 by 4 1/4 size pretty much. Yeah, see, I made a glittery mess. I would recommend getting a container that actually you can pour your glitter back in. So I'm just going to move that out of the way, and I'm going to burnish this side down as well, just to make sure that glitter pretty much stays in there. Get this mess out of my way. Now what I need to do is, and I'm just kind of tapping off any excess glitter, I'm going to just take my little hole punchers, and I'm going to just kind of eyeball the center there and punch myself a little hole. And then I've got a piece of, this is just some muslin fabric that I dyed, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to do that because it's part of the junk journal process. And I'm just going to take that little piece of torn up material and tie my little tie, and there we go. We've got a reversible acetate tag. What do you think? Hey, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and be sure to visit us over at Del Bello's Designs. And also don't forget to visit our Facebook groups. Have a great day and thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.